Bhuvan Unhelkar, University of South Florida, USA. Bhuvan Unhelkar is a professor of information technology in the School of Information System and Management, Mumma College of Business in Sarasota Manatee campus. His research focuses on big data strategies, AI, agile processes, and their application in practice. He teaches IT and project management courses at undergraduate and graduate level. He holds certification as Business Analysis, Professional Scrum Master, Software Quality Assurance and Training and Assessment. He has written or co written 27 books, chapters, and research articles for numerous publications, including the Qatar Business Technology Journal, the Journal of Information Technology and Tourism, the International Journal of Mobile and Ad hoc Network, and the Global Journal of Finance and Management. Unhelkar earned his PhD and master degree from the University of Technology, Sydney, MDBA from Pune, and his bachelor's in electronic engineering from the MS University of Baroda. I invite you, sir.
Thank you, Dipanshi, and namaste to all my friends. Thank you for a wonderful introduction. Also to Dr. Deepak Gupta, if you are listening, sir, thank you for inviting me and insisting I should join this event. I'm very happy to do so. Um, you heard in the introduction that my Bachelor of Engineering way back in 1982 is from Baroda. And as you can see from the background, I have not put a screen behind me. I am sitting in my hometown, in my home. I just happen to be traveling and in Vadodara. So it is a pleasure. It's an honor to present my thoughts, my ideas in terms of data. I heard Professor Milan talk about images and image processing and the correlation between data and images, and that was fascinating. I have quite a few postdoctoral scholars here in India, including in Delhi and in Hyderabad. Looks like I might have dropped out. I hope I'm back. So, um, the time that is given to me, my plan is to share some thoughts around data that will be of value to you as you further yourself in your research. Um, by the way, Dipanshi, am I audible? Is everything okay?
Yes, sir, it is
Okay,
on.
good, 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 good. Thank you, thank you. So my work is in big data. Everyone is keen to know what is big data. The question is, what is big data? Is there a particular cutoff? Is there a size beyond which we can say it is? This was a face-to-face presentation. I would have stopped and showed you a very fascinating image that I use many times of 5 to 6 very strong men pushing a refrigerator size cabinet. It's an IBM image on the back of a truck in 1956. And that is 5 megabyte, massive 5 megabyte. So in 1956, 5 megabyte was really big data. In 2025, the question arises, what is the cutoff? Is half a petabyte big data? Is 1 petabyte big data? And because I belong to the Mumma College of Business, where the interest is in application of data to business decision making, the best way to understand big data is data that is challenging, data that is difficult to make sense of. So then the question arises, why do we want to make sense of data? Your phone and my phone usually are carrying uh, quite substantial 256 GB, maybe even half a terabyte. We've got heaps of photographs, we've got heaps of WhatsApp messages. Are we able to make sense of it? And why do we want to make sense of it? The same logic applies to various verticals: banks, hospitals, health, public health, airlines, education. In each of these verticals, the interest of the business is decision making. So we want to make sense of data. We want to apply right from the humble linear regression through to the very complex neural networks and some of the uh, nature-based algorithms that are becoming very popular. Professor Milan did talk about swarm algorithm, swarm particle algorithm. A couple of my students have applied Chase Prairie Wolf syndrome uh, algorithm to data. We are applying these algorithms to identify patterns, to identify knowledge that is hidden in the data. Data on its own doesn't mean much. Only when we identify patterns, only when we identify knowledge sense within the data, it starts making sense. It starts becoming of value to the decision makers. So let me extend the definition of big data to not only the data that is difficult and challenging to make sense of, but data that should directly aid decision making for business leaders. So when it comes to decision making, there are three fairly well known or fairly crucial parameters to enhance, to improve decision making. First is the time taken to make decision. Second is the accuracy of decision. And third is the number of people who are going to make when the loan for a car or a house or for whatever event we want to hold used to go through a process of 2 or 3 tiers: the teller, the branch manager, the senior manager. Now, in my hometown, I can easily walk up to a branch and I can talk about the loan directly with the teller, because the teller is aided by a AI-enabled system that is going to help them make decision on whether loan should be given to Bhuvan Unhelkar or not. Secondly, the accuracy of decision making. Obviously, when we make sense, when we analyze the data, when we establish correlations between data, accuracy of decision making is going to improve. If I can improve the accuracy by even 3% in terms of offering loans, or in Florida, where I work, if I can improve the accuracy of occupancy in a hotel by 5%, I'm going to help my business save a lot of money. So accuracy is the second parameter, and third is the time taken to make decisions. Again, big data analytics through various tools and technologies is going to help me enhance my decision making. So if I want to achieve this goal and I have all the tools and technologies, I need to understand a little bit more as I develop the enterprise architecture, as I develop the strategy to apply tools to my big data. Let me understand the nature of big data. Big data is still data, but then why it is called big? Because I'm not able to make sense of it. There are additional features of big data. For example, we in the world of SQL, structured query language, are used to rows and columns. We are used to text and numbers. When it comes to big data, it is going to be semi-structured and unstructured. And therefore, a typical Oracle or any other SQL database may not be sufficient. If you are recording this talk, you would like to analyze it to figure out how many times Dr. Unhelkar mentioned big data, because that's a theme that's going to emerge. Did he mention cybersecurity at all? Was blockchain mentioned? You would like to analyze the speech, not just the text. Now we are moving towards NoSQL, not only SQL databases such as MongoDB, which is the most popular NoSQL database and which I use when it comes to teaching NoSQL. So now we are looking at the nature of data that has changed from being rows and columns, text and numbers, to being semi-structured, unstructured. Typically, when you go to a bank and you have a service, you take their service, they may send you a survey. Airlines send that quite regularly. Other businesses, hotels send quite regularly. So if you're going to fill out the survey in which there is a description, there is a last section on any additional comments which tend to be most valuable, you may want to analyze them, and to do that you will have to put them in no SQL database. So the nature of data is not only structured, but also semi-structured and unstructured. The nature of data is not only text and numbers, but audio, video, and as you heard from Professor Milan, images and analyzing the images. Let me add one more characteristic that defines big data, or the world of big data, really. And that is the three labels that I would like to put on data. One is the normal stock standard transactional data. Second is macro data. And third is alternative data. Couple of my postdoctoral scholars are doing a fair bit of interesting research on alternative data. But let me just add some more description to these three types of data. Any normal transactional data that identifies a record, that is a data point as we usually understand it, is the normal transactional data. I withdraw cash, I deposit cash. There are 130 individuals in this conference. Each individual has an ID, each individual has a name. That's our normal data point. We analyze that, of course, and we try to make sense of it to improve our decision making. Next comes macro data. I generally give the example of Google Maps. Google is not an altruistic company. It's in business to make money. And it is giving me so many free services. It's giving me emails and it's giving me maps. It is also promising to maintain the privacy of my data. So how is it going to then use this data? So if each of these 130 people in this conference are identified individually, that is our normal data. But if I say there are 130 people in this conference, the number 130 is aggregated data. I call it macro data. And that has tremendous value in business decision making. If we all use Google Maps, Google harvests that data to figure out what group of people are going where. If I am in Florida, I'm going to Dunkin' for coffee. So there are, let's say, 3,000 people going in the morning to Dunkin' and 5,000 to Starbucks. So the number 3,000 and 5,000 is of value to those companies, and Google is selling that macro data. So if the privacy of the data is not breached, there is still a phenomenal amount of data that is being fed in decision making. And the third and last is alternative data. And that has suddenly come to prominence. And I know a number of banks that are using it, number of financial institutions that are using it. And that is when the institution itself is not involved. But there are people talking on Instagram, on X, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on various social media. about a particular business, about a particular event. For example, in this conference, there are 130 participants, and 15 of them go out and talk about this particular presentation. Neither I nor the organizers, nobody will come to know, but that is alternative data. And of course, there are tools, there are crawlers, there are various chat GPT equivalent that are continuously monitoring what is going on and what people are talking about a particular airline, about a particular hotel, about a particular bank, about the service that the bank has offered. And that data, when it is harvested, has a correlation with the way stock market behaves, the way currency options behave. I'm giving you example from the work that is happening with my postdoctoral scholars. So data is just one word, but when it explodes into so many dimensions. I was given 20 odd minutes to talk, so I'm going to summarize what I have highlighted. This is not a educational presentation. This is a keynote. And my hope and wish and prayer is that through this talk, we open up doors for further collaboration. So I'm not going to keep talking more. And I have specifically told Dr. Deepak Gupta I'm not using PowerPoint. In 20 to 25 minutes, it doesn't make sense for me to use PowerPoint. But I have highlighted to you the importance of data in decision making, which is the business interest. I have then highlighted to you that big data is not really defined by size, but by the challenge it poses in terms of analysis, in terms of pattern identification. There are phenomenal amount of tools that are going to help us do that. And of course, every kid, every young man, every young girl I know in my college wants to code in Python. And Python is not an object-oriented language. I have an object-oriented background. So it makes it very interesting. I also teach my students to create models, UML models, class diagrams, sequence diagrams, which don't easily translate into Python. But we use these tools, we use SPSS, we use even Tableau, which is a which is a highly sophisticated Excel. And Excel has got its own scripting language now to make sense of data. And it is big data if it is challenging to make sense of with the available tools. Big data is also structured, semi-structured, and unstructured, which leads us to tools like MongoDB to storing. Big data is also text, numbers, and audio, video, images. And then I also highlighted to you that big data is in three rough divisions. Each of them have a dimension of their own. The stock standard data point, the aggregated data point, which is macro data, and then the data that is floating in the ether, so to speak, that is outside the firewall of the organization, of the individual, and people are talking about it, making news out of it, which has the impact on decision making. All of this is correlation based and not causation. I get asked by especially non-technical people, general audience, rotary audience, where I give a talk, is AI going to take over humans? To me, AI is a very valuable tool. I use it all the time. It is my research assistant, but I don't see how it can take over. I feel that the balance between natural intelligence and artificial intelligence is the way to go. Some of my research areas are impact of AI on sustainable environment, impact of AI on biases on AI decision making. I'm also working on a couple of articles on explainable AI. Already, I have published a non-research article on XAI, explainable AI, and biases. And then, of course, there is this massive world of cybersecurity. which has no end really, and it's like a game, ongoing game between the bad elements and the good elements. We do have a program on information assurance and cybersecurity management at our university, and that's about it. I think I have used up the time that Dr. Gupta had given me, and I hope I have been good in managing the time. So once again, thank you for the opportunity. Namaste to everybody. Do please find me on LinkedIn and feel free to connect. I'm the only Bhuvan Unhelkar on LinkedIn. And I'll hand it over back to Dipanshi. And if there are any questions, I would like to handle them. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you so much to Dr. Bhuvan Unhelkar. Actually, uh, it is very basically you have given the very good insight regarding the data, and you have discussed basically the decision-making systems and the big data and the types of data on macro and alternative data related to that. And you have also discussed about the Mongo database aspects and different dimensions of data. So let me ask the audience if they have some questions related to your talk. Anybody is having any question, then they can write into the chat so that Professor Bhuvan can answer them.
Everybody is also welcome to reach out to me offline after the presentation. Oh, I have a question. That's a good one. I should have talked about career growth. I was given 25 minutes, and in America, people say, hey, you Indians, you cannot manage time. So I tell them I'm an Indian and I do manage time. I have the watch right in front of me. So I did not talk about career growth, faculty development, but those are areas of interest to me. So the question is relevant. The answer changes depending on the situation in US right now. But let me assure you that at ground level, on a one-on-one basis, you and I level, US is one of the nicest, most welcoming, and most innovative country that I have known. I've spent almost 30 years in Australia and 10 years in US. So I must be a very old man. But my experience tells me that innovation is the key. And therefore, if any student, anyone in the audience is considering going for higher studies in the US, I will totally support it. I will be very happy once I know the person to even write a letter of recommendation. It's a part of me giving back to the community. Only thing is make sure that you do your maths correctly, because right now only saying uh, okay, just let me conclude by saying that yes, it is worth trying. Um, More technical options better, and I'm here to help and support as much as I can. But it may not be easy to get a H1 and work there right now. I hope I have answered the question. More questions are welcome.
Uh, Okay, thank you so much, Professor Bhuvan and Professor Milan as well as I have seen both of you. So maybe we are looking forward to meet you in person as well in our upcoming
Yes.
conference. So so thank you so much, sir. Okay.
Okay. Take care. Namaste to all.